If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, but let's get right to it. The Lion King, my wife and I saw it today as a matinee, and I have to say it's an amazing movie, absolutely amazing. I think that there was a lot of people who were, when it first came out this past Tuesday or Wednesday, when it was premiering, and everybody was like, well, it's just like a screenshot remake of the cartoon animated version. First of all, everyone was like, oh, it's not live action. There's one shot in the whole movie that I think Jon Favreau put in there because he said he wanted to see if people could tell if it was a fake shot or not. And I believe it was the sunrise in the beginning of the movie was really Africa. But the rest of the movie, every blade of grass, every grain of sand, it was all computer generated. The animals were all computer generated. And I have to tell you, there were certain times in the movie where it looked like you were literally watching National Geographic or Animal Planet, and you were watching real footage. Now, of course, every time they would talk, you know, and words would come out or they would sing, you know, you'd snap out of that. But if it was just a stoic look, standing there, the wind blowing the mane on a rock ledge or something, I mean, it just looked amazing. I mean, this is some of the best CGI I've ever seen. And they're just making leaps and bounds with this. I mean, to use any kind of an animal going forward in a movie for anything, it seems pointless after this film. They've just nailed everything from the water to how they interact with each other, to twitches in the ears of the lions. And even when the female lionesses were standing there and their rib cages, just past their rib cages, you would see them exhale and inhale as they were breathing. It just looked absolutely stunning. And of course, you know, the beginning of the movie, which took a lot of shots from the original animated version and recreated them, but you almost, this is not a shot-for-shot remake of the original. It's just not. But there are some iconic frames that, in order to tell this story, you had to almost emulate and replicate. I would say that almost all of the voice actors were just spot on. I enjoyed everyone except Donald Glover playing the older Simba and Beyonce playing Nala. They just felt off. Now, granted, there was the beautiful song that was written and stuff, Spirit, by Beyonce and everything, but there was just something, I couldn't put my finger on it, but it just didn't sound right. And neither did Donald Glover. And I like Donald Glover. I liked him in everything I've seen him in so far. I think he's extremely talented. I like his music. So again, like I don't get the casting as much, other than, you know, they were trying to stick with a theme with musical talent and artists and stuff. It's kind of what they're doing with The Little Mermaid. They're bringing in musical vocalists that appeal to a younger generation of people that would go to the movies and see those, you know, because again, like the cartoon was made for everyone 25 years ago, and this one is made for everybody now. So you have to do a little bit of a different type of casting situation. I will say the opening sequence of the movie, I had a lump in my throat, little tears welling up in my eyes. My wife was the same way. She looked over at me and she could see me welling up. It was just so beautiful, the opening of the film. And, you know, I think there was like, I would say for me personally, for like 70% of the movie, I was very emotionally rattled. And I'll tell you why, because my dad passed away in 2015, so it's been 4 years, but it's still kind of fresh. And so the whole father-son dynamic where he loses his dad and then has to become the father and things like that really affected me while I was sitting there watching the movie. And you know, when the one baboon brought him over to the water, and this is a spoiler, but not really, because it happened in the cartoon too. And he told him, he's like, your father's always with you, and he told him to look in the creek, and he could see his reflection, and he saw that his father was with him. I look a lot like my dad, and so you know, we have the same hands and things like that, and I didn't have an extremely close relationship with my father over the years, and so I was feeling a lot of loss while I was watching the movie. So I did get emotional and teared up a lot throughout the film, but I absolutely loved it. This one is going to be a classic. It's going to be a hit. And I really think that people should embrace this movie, and people that are coming at it with it's an exact copy of the animation. Well, it's an animation of an animation, but it's an animation light years away from what they were doing 25 years ago. So you can't look at it as in that same thing. Like I really enjoyed Aladdin, and you can't look at the old Aladdin and go, you can't compare them, because, you know, Robin Williams, although he did the voice, it was the animation that really sold all the whimsical ways that Robin Williams would go in and out of different characters and voices and all this other. It was the animation that sold that. And so Will Smith, in his own right, is a fantastic actor, and he's just a really awesome guy, and he did his own spin on it. So you had to look at it as an audience now, not as, you had to disconnect yourself from that original one. But The Lion King is just amazing. It's just an amazing film. I loved all the characters in it, all the voices in it. Everybody was just spot on. Just the battles between Scar and Mufasa, or in the beginning, and he does the thing where he pushes him off the cliff. I mean, everything. The hyenas, the elephants were beautiful. The giraffes were beautiful. And one of the things that I reflected on also, which made me a little emotional, is that this may be in the future the only way we see the way trophy hunters have been killing giraffe and killing and their poachers are killing rhinoceroses for their horns, and they're killing elephants for their tusks, and mankind is just wiping out these animals. And I feel like, in a sad way, the only way we're going to be able to reflect and look upon these animals, other than nature preserves and zoos, zoological centers, is in CGI animation. And that's really pathetic and sad. As the human race, we should be really sad about that, and that's the way we're going. So yeah, a lot to process from The Lion King. Fantastic. Jon Favreau, everybody that created this. I watched the ABC special where they premiered the Spirit song, and they showed how they were doing the voice work. They showed how they were doing it's like a virtual reality, and all of the animators put on VR headsets and were in the world trying to come up with shots, and unbelievable the technology that went into making this movie. And it really shows on the screen. And guys, you've got to go see this movie on a big screen. If you've got a PDX theater around you, or you've got IMAX, go see The Lion King. Wow, just a fantastic movie. Will pull on your heartstrings, will teach you some great lessons in life, and the circle of life and all that good stuff. And man, just a great, fantastic Disney film. They really knocked this one out of the park. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on The Lion King. What are your thoughts on The Lion King? Let's talk about it in the comments section, and we'll see you on the next one.